G'day and welcome to Off-Grid Earth. Today we're in the beautiful Hunter Valley vineyard region. It's absolutely stunning up here, and we're with Robert and James Lusby from Tintilla Estate. Guys, thanks for having us.
Great pleasure.
Thanks for coming.
Now the vineyard itself is not off-grid. It's got some good solar panels on it.
Yes.
But the house down here, Robert, where you live with Mary, is off-grid.
Off-grid, totally off-grid.
Just tell us from the beginning why you thought that going off-grid might be an idea for you.
So we're almost 3/4 of a kilometre from the road, and the cost of the power poles and wires was about equal to, if not a little bit more, than going off-grid.
Right.
It was a no-brainer for us.
Yep.
And it meant we could put in a shed, put in the solar, and we had power for the building.
Yep.
And we've been here 4 years, I think, and maybe the solar's been in that or a bit longer because the shed we did first.
Yeah.
And really, apart from a couple of minor glitches, we've been very happy with it.
So you had 10.5 kilowatts originally.
Yes.
And it's significant, and a pretty good gel battery bank.
Yeah.
Originally, was it put under a little bit of pressure? From
Not really, but everyone said we had to have a swimming pool.
Right.
Keep all the grandkids happy.
Yes.
And absolutely right. It keeps them very happy.
Right.
But when we put in the swimming pool, we needed to be able to look after that and run the pumps and that sort of thing. And so we took the opportunity to add another.
Just to give yourself that bit of extra
and it
buffer.
gives a bit of a margin too. Yeah.
And being AC coupled, obviously you're using that power when the sun's shining. You're saying you adapted your washing program to run during the day. Is that the pool pump, I'm guessing, run during the day?
Absolutely.
Other things as well that you sort of push?
Even the irrigation for the lawns and whatnot comes on when the sun's up.
Yeah.
So, and early, it comes on 8 or 9 in the morning, depending on daylight saving. But all of that is just minor finesse to make sure that we don't drain the batteries. We like to keep the batteries up as high as we can. Yeah.
And James, you've obviously, you run the vineyard, and you've had experience with it from the very beginning. You're pretty well versed with being off-grid now. What are the key things that you could share with people about being off-grid and the challenges and the pros and cons that you might have experienced?
Sure. I think, obviously the first thing is to know what you want out of the system, so what you're going to potentially use, and making sure you've got that a little bit more, because if you don't, that's when you get into trouble.
So the original system up here was a 10.5 kilowatt solar array using Trina 250 watt panels. We had two SMA 5048s here generating 10,000 watts, 10 kilowatts of continuous output. The batteries were a Sonnenschein 1695 amp hour. They generate 80 kilowatt hours of storage. Later on, the guys upgraded with 3 kilowatts of Tindo Cara 260 watt panels and another 3000 watt, 3000 TL SMA 3000 TL. So all in all, a bit over 13 kilowatts of solar and 80 kilowatt hours of storage and a decent gen.
So we had originally got a smaller generator as a backup, and although it was a good little generator, couldn't do both run the house and charge the batteries when he needed them to. And so once we realised that, we realised that that we're going to have to upgrade it. And so then we went for a much bigger system generator, which since we put that in, we really haven't had any troubles, other than the one time when we had an extreme heat event, and that you can't really plan for that. But again, there's a few things we've adjusted that should hopefully get us through next time without the same problems. So making sure it's well ventilated. We already had insulated the shed where all that system is, but just knowing that when you've got those extreme heats coming, you need to get some actual, like we've just bought some fans, pedestal fans, so you can actually blow fresh air
just to help with that airflow.
Just to really help that airflow, because when it's 47 degrees, it's the system. Well, even normal power that you get from poles and wires will shut down. It has issues when you get to those extreme heats. So and again, like we've got air conditioners in the house, you don't run them at night. You run them during the day when the
Cool.
sun's up,
Cool
so that
house.
way the house is cool.
And you know, does that seem to work all right for you?
It works
Robert?
pretty well because we put fans in all the rooms.
Yeah.
So you get, and this is an insulated building.
Mm.
It's made out of fire-resistant urethane panels. So the building inside is actually naturally quite cool.
Cool.
It's what
So
they
once
used to
it's
make cool rooms and stuff. So
Right.
I think
Yeah.
the panels
So once
are-
it's cooled down, it stays cool, and the fans are circulating that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're getting those really extreme temperatures, you could choose to run your air conditioning all night, and the batteries will reach their threshold level, and the generator would kick in to support the system.
Correct.
But it's not what you're commonly doing. I'm guessing, for the most part, you could cool the house down. It comes into the late evening, you get a northeast sea breeze,
Exactly.
and you can open the house up and cool things down anyway.
Yeah,
Is
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
So we built it like that, and we built the windows, etc. You know, smaller windows facing the sun, larger windows facing
Yeah, and
Yeah.
in a big veranda.
big
so you-
verandas around, and the whole idea was to make it eco-friendly,
yeah,
but also to save money.
yes, for
You
sure.
know, it's amazing that we can do all this, do all the cooking, everything you need, and it's all done compliments of the sun.
Compliments of the sun.
Thank you very much.
And the consideration of the house build, the architectural design and solar passive and angles and window sizing and all this sort of stuff that plays into the mix when you're considering going off-grid makes off-grid that much more, you know, containing it as a package.
Yeah.
You know, it can work in isolation if you've just got a house that's sitting there and then you put your solar on. But if everything's considered from the start, it makes a big difference, doesn't it?
Even the cement floor is, you know, built on the polystyrene pods.
Oh yeah, your waffle pod.
Yeah, the waffle. So again, we didn't need underground underfloor heating because the waffle pod sort of insulates it, and so it's amazing how good that is. It's good in terms of insulation. It's good in terms of saving money on the amount of cement you need.
Absolutely, for sure.
So-
And so what do you guys do in winter for heating, space heating? What's going on
I've
there?
got log fire.
Log fire.
One.
One.
And
Yeah.
that'll do the whole.
And that does the whole house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got another one for show or for entertainment.
And you're right, okay.
But-
And so because you've got a lot of timber on the property, you know, so that makes sense for you guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, excellent. So we've, you know, look, this property is obviously quite an extensive property with the vineyards. The house itself is a proper large home with
I
a
think it's
pool,
400
with it,
squares.
400 squares with air conditioning. We've got a couple of air conditioners in there.
Ducted through.
Ducted through, so no corners cut here, and been running quite comfortably, albeit with a few minor challenges over the last few years off grid. So guys, tell me a bit about the vineyard then. You obviously it's the main business,
Yes.
and you've been up here how many years now?
Well, 25 actually.
25
This is
years. Just
next
been
year's
celebrating
25.
Just growing. Is it always been this big, or you've been growing the thing the whole time?
Oh no, we planted 18 acres of vines when we started, and then what we grew over time was the winery side of things. So now we grow all our own grapes and we make all our own wine on site.
Great.
And we're very hunter-centric,
Yes.
and so it's been very successful for us. We also introduced Sangiovese, which is an Italian grape variety, first to grow it in the Hunter Valley.
Yes.
But it reflects the changing attitudes to wine varieties that's occurred in the last 10, 15 years in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been good for us, plus the traditional Shiraz and Semillon, and got some lovely Cabernet.
And you guys are an award-winning.
Yeah. And I mean, James is our winemaker. He's won multiple trophies and gold medals, and amazing.
It's great. It's excellent. Yeah, well, definitely get up here and try some of the Tintilla wines. Look, the cameraman's nodding.
And olives, we do olives as well.
Olives, yes.
Yeah, we've got about 500 olive trees, and so we pickle our own olives and sell them at Cellar door. And
Right, and most of it goes out through the cellar door. You distribute it as well.
Just go Cellar door, and we've got an orchard out the back. I've got 30 fig trees, so we've got fig jam and marmalades.
Beautiful locut jam. I hear. I said, oh, we don't do anything with our locusts and making jam, so maybe we've got to get our act together at
It's a
home.
bit labour intensive, but it's good. Yeah.
Lots of different products. So what's the most popular wine that you're doing then? Is it
Shiraz.
Shiraz? Hunter Shiraz.
Hunter Shiraz, yeah, it's our biggest planting and it's our biggest seller.
Yeah, and see, I'm always at loggerheads with James because he loves the dry weather.
Yeah,
You see, he wants the dry weather because he gets good vintages. I'm like, I never want it to stop raining because I want my dams full. But the advantage for you guys is actually you've got the PID, which in the Hunter Valley is a
private irrigation line that all the vineyards invested in about 15, 20 years ago, and it's given us that guarantee of water. Even in the dry season, and it'll get us through the dry springs, because Hunter springs are usually dry, on the dry side, and then the winter, the summer rainfall at the end of harvest, curse it,
exactly the wrong
fills
time.
up the dams.
It's a bit ups and down, isn't it?
Well,
you really want the wetter weather in the spring.
You've got to struggle to make good wine. That's all I think.
Yeah, that's right. Nothing comes easy. So certainly. Look, it's fantastic to come up here. There's so many different people who live off grid and who are experiencing the off grid lifestyles. It's great that you guys, did it for the reasons that you guys did it, and we may tackle the winery eventually.
Well, I'd love to. That would be my next thing, definitely. Yeah.
So there's already a bit of solar up there. We're just got to see whether it's. But as battery technology changes, these things can come into view anyway.
But it's amazing how the putting the solar on there saved us from having to replace the power box up the front, which is going to cost us 60 or 80,000.
So it took pressure off the transformer.
It did. The transformer was overheating, and we just put in the solar, as well as reducing our overall costs. It just saved us that.
Great.
My winter bill, 2 winter bills, are about $400.
$400. That's pretty handy, isn't it?
It's pretty good. My summer one's a bit more when I've got all my equipment and my cooling system going, but it does a really good job.
Nice. And what's your winter bill here, Robert?
We don't have
Let me hear that. He doesn't have a bill.
bill.
Fantastic. Well, thanks very much for having us. It's a pleasure to be coming out, and we might go up and have a look at some of those tasty wines.
Sounds good.
Good on you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Robert.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Cheers.
Over the hills and far from wide, she's waiting for love to be realized. I'll send her my heart.